Good evening. I'm Frank Gonzalez, principal of Manteca High School. We would like to welcome our MHS family and friends to our 9th induction ceremony. Thank you to Stephanie Helmstead and the Hall of Fame Committee for all their time and efforts in bringing this event back to Manteca High School. It gives us great pride to induct these special people tonight. You have served generations of Buffaloes with your heart and soul, and we honor you for your services to Manteca High School. Please enjoy the night and congratulations.
Good evening, and thank you for attending the 2021 Manteca High School Hall of Fame induction ceremony. My name is Todd Dunaway, and I'm the assistant principal of Manteca High. This year, we are proud to induct 6 amazing and deserving individuals that have contributed not only to the betterment of MHS, but to the community of Manteca. This class that enters this illustrious hall is the first since the year 2000. With this class, we welcome back an annual event that is not only important to MHS, but to the community of Manteca. Each of these new Hall of Fame inductees receives a personalized MHS Hall of Fame plaque and a lifetime pass to all Manteca High School events and activities. Please join me now as we induct the 2021 class into the Manteca High School Hall of Fame.
Hello, my name is Billy Sharmug. I'm a former Manteca High student, current TV commercial megastar, and proud alumnus of Evanston University. Dan Evanston is a father, a coach, a mentor, a role model, a businessman, and so much more. He's a man who wears many hats, and not only to protect his head from sunlight. His impact on the community is unmatched. As the offensive line coach for the Manteca High football team, his successes speak for themselves. He's led Manteca High to multiple section titles and counting, and he's allowed for multiple players such as myself to enjoy collegiate athletic careers beyond high school. But it's not just his impact on the field. It's his impact off the field that speaks volumes on the man Coach E is. Coach E had helped me become not only a better football player, but a better man in turn. His life lessons sometimes are simple. For example, rule number 1 in the proverbial Evanston handbook: don't be stupid. Pretty simple rule, but it leaves a mark, a resounding mark. His kind heart never misses a beat, whether it be giving you a ride home after practice or opening up his home to those who need it most. The Evanston household's doors are always open, and believe me, the food is good. Thank you, Mrs. Coach. As a businessman, he served as a catalyst for building the infrastructure of our very city and our school districts. And his new up-and-coming business, Bros & Co., serves to be a multi-dollar business in its own right. Coach E is a role model, a mentor, somebody I look up to deeply. He's a man who makes everybody around him better, and you're better off after meeting him. He's a man that myself and other men can attribute their successes in life to. Which is why it is my absolute honor and my privilege to induct Dan Evanston to the Manteca High Hall of Fame.
First and foremost, I would like to say what an honor it is for me to be selected part of the class of 2021 Hall of Fame at Manteca High School. Thank you to the Manteca High School Hall of Fame Committee for presenting me with this honor. I'm a Manteca guy. I grew up in Manteca, and I didn't live anywhere else until I graduated from high school in 1986. After a mere 5.5 years of college at Cal Poly, I returned to Manteca, where I've lived ever since. I grew up in a Buffalo family. Both my parents are Manteca High School graduates, class of 1960 and 61, as is my maternal grandmother, class of 39. I even married a Manteca High School alumnus. My wife, Michelle, is an 86 graduate too. My grandmother, who will turn 100 in May, is excited to see the centennial celebration later this year. And my 3 children are also Manteca High School graduates and section champions. Fourth generation graduates are Joe, class of 14, Matt, class of 16, and Julianne, class of 2018. I remember going to football games when I was a young boy with my parents and their friends. And I can remember my aunts and uncles and older cousins all going through Manteca High School, and I would listen to their stories about the campus, the sports, the teachers, and the fun they had. I also remember the loyalty to the school. Manteca High School was not just a place to them. It was like a living, breathing being worthy of being protected and honored. And that's how I've always thought of Manteca High School, and I always will. When it was my time to start high school, trash canning the freshmen had just been officially outlawed. While at Manteca, I played football, soccer, did track and field, earning 5 VOL championships. I was also a 4-year member of the Key Club and the Block M clubs. While at Manteca High School, the people I met, the experiences I had, and the memories I made have made me the person I am today. After high school, I had the opportunity to attend Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and play 5 years of football. After my playing days were over and I finally finished school with my Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, I moved back to Manteca and married my wife, Michelle.
When I first heard about the Manteca High School Hall of Fame, one teacher, one alumni immediately came to mind, and that's my teacher friend, Marianne Tolbert. If you've been on our campus in the last 5 years, you've definitely heard her name. She's an amazing teacher and Link Crew advisor. She and her Link Crew class have brought numerous mental health programs to our school that have only bettered the lives of all of our students. She's also a phenomenal coach. She's a Blue Banner winner, VOL title winner, and was named the one and only CIF Coach of the Year for the 2019-2020 season. That's something that no other Manteca High coach had ever done. She's just that freaking amazing. She truly is a Buffalo and embodies everything that we want our students to be. She believes in a tradition of excellence, something that our school strives for. She is and will always be a Buffalo. She gives everything to her students and just wants the best for them. When I heard about this, I just couldn't imagine anyone else winning this. Yes, I know there were other winners, but Marianne is a Buffalo and encourages people to become Buffaloes. And I'm just so glad that she was named one of the 2021 Hall of Fame winners. Congrats, Marianne.
Thank you for the nomination from Mackenzie Bellamy into the Manteca High Hall of Fame. I'm completely honored and humbled to be part of this amazing group of individuals that I've had the opportunity to go to school with some of them. One was a coach mentor, as well as having other relationships with the other 2 throughout my coaching and teaching career. I thank Mr. Gonzalez and the committee, Mr. Gonzalez for making me a full-time Buffalo about 9 years ago, and for all the support along the way, and the committee for honoring me with this group of individuals after a 21-year lapse. It's very exciting. I'd like to thank the athletic directors I've worked under, including Mark Troutner, Ron Enterbitson, who got me started with tennis, Dave Smith, and Bill Slicker. The coaches that have mentored me along the line, starting with Elise Rubel, who gave me my first coaching job, Andrea Hyatt, Frank Fontana, and of course, Coach Butch Lynn, who was my basketball coach here, and Martha Diaz-Lynn, along with my 2 favorite coaches, my father and my grandfather, who taught me what it was all about, and it's always about the kids. I'd like to thank my mom and my kids. My mom is a Buffalo, and my 3 kids are Buffaloes. And they spent a lot of time in stands cheering me and all the other kids, all the girls along the way. I'd like to thank my tribe of friends, Mackenzie, Stephanie, Carol, and Linda, who keep me going and wear their tennis shirts proudly all the time. And my cousin Michelle, who is always a huge advocate for me and supporter. And she came to love tennis and she didn't even know it. Lastly, I'd like to thank all the girls and their families that I've had the honor and privilege of coaching, because at the end of the day, it's about those girls and how they've touched my life as much as I've touched theirs. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mark Condit. I'm a 1981 graduate of Manteca High School, and I'm here to nominate Mike Henry for the Manteca High School Hall of Fame. Not only is he my stepdad, but he was the #1 coach at Manteca for a number of years and is a member of the staff there. And the reason that he should be in the Hall of Fame is not just his '87 championship team in basketball that won a section championship, but the ability and the interest and the love that he has in talking about all the kids he ever coached. That goes from his first freshman team in '76, '77, Jackson, Nelson, Trillia, Van Ryan, Farrell, going on to Reno, Cook, Gleason, Gutierrez, James Ward, his first varsity team, Holsabosh, Diaz, Winter, Brogan, Frisk. He will talk about these people forever. He will go on and on about them and how much they meant to him. Farringer, Mullen, Iorio, Burke, Lucas, Vanderpool, Henderson, Cresswell, Harvey, Tatum, Shuford, Aratakis. The list just goes on and on. Again, I'll mention the '87 championship team that won a section championship: Wentworth, Cannon, Gibson, Johnson, Barilla, Gale. If you get him started, he will talk about these kids forever and how much they meant to him and what it meant for him to be a varsity basketball coach at Manteca High School. Nussbaumer, DeRoos, Morgan, Ennis, the '81-'82 VOL sophomore champs. And of course, the great story about Beatty and Evanson coming out for summer ball tourney in Salinas. But that's a story for another time. Mike Henry loved being a head basketball coach at Manteca High School. He loved being a member of the faculty there. Cheers to you, Mike. Congratulations on being in the Manteca High School Hall of Fame. We all love you.
I'm very honored to be invited to be in the Manteca High Hall of Fame. I arrived in Manteca in 1970, and after 6 years at the elementary school, came to the high school and taught for 26 years at Manteca High. It was a great teaching experience for several reasons. First reason, the kids, they were very receptive to learning and were very well behaved, easy to handle, and so on. So that was number two. We had a very strong faculty. I felt like that there were people that really enjoyed each other and were good in their fields. They well knew their subject matter and were able to convey it to the students. My favorite class of all was my 8th grade algebra classes that would come up. They'd send some of the top math students in the district and send them to us. Okay, it was also a good place to teach because of strong administration that were there for you when you needed them. And finally, they good, tremendous faculty. They were smart, were very energetic, they were fun, we not only worked together, but we partied together, and it was just fun to be a member of that. And finally, one of the biggest reasons that I feel like that I enjoyed Manteca High was that I was able to reach my goal as a varsity basketball coach while I was there. It was just wonderful, and worked my way up by being sophomore and freshman coach, and varsity assistant for 6 years, and was varsity basketball head coach for 11 years, where we won 184 games. And before I start patting myself on the back, I must admit that we lost 139. Also, we won the section championship in 1987 and won 2 VOL titles in 87 and 89. Plus, we were perennial second place finishers when we did not win it. The 1987 team still is very important to me. About 5 years ago, they had a party at the golf course where they invited everybody back that was a member of that team, and I still associate with some of those people today. Like I say, I am just honored to be put in this Hall of Fame. There are so many great candidates, and to think that I was able to join them makes me both happy and proud. Thank you. I also have 2 grandchildren that bleed Manteca High green.
It is with great pride and honor that I introduce John David Miller, aka Jack Miller, as a 2020-2021 Manteca High School Hall of Fame inductee. As any deserving inductee will possess, Jack, who is also currently a member of the City of Manteca's Hall of Fame, has excelled in multiple areas of service to Manteca High and its students. Jack's legacy is one we should all hope for. Mr. Miller taught social science at MHS for 32 years, most notably U.S. and AP U.S. history. You would often see Mr. Miller, who was also a coach his entire teaching career and beyond, in his classrooms on weekends preparing students for their AP tests. Mr. Miller has also mentored some of the best teachers on our campus. Multiple times, Mr. Miller served as a master teacher to student teachers who saw firsthand how a classroom should be led. Mr. Miller started a Bill Walsh type teaching tree. Many current very good teachers have been mentored by Mr. Miller. His legacy will live on. Coach Miller coached football and baseball at MHS for 38 years. Coach Miller was highly integral in 6 Manteca High section championships, which happens to be tied for the second most all-time for any coach in the history of Manteca High athletics, and 1 state championship in baseball. This includes 3 firsts in MHS athletics history. Coach Miller was a coach on our first ever section championship team in football, 2001, our first ever section championship team in baseball, 2014, and the first ever state championship for any sport, which was baseball, in 2014. Coach Miller has mentored several coaches over the years, myself included. When making any sort of big decision on a team, I know personally I ask myself, what would Jack Miller do? Coach Miller had a way about them where the last thing a player ever wanted to do was disappoint him. You could find Coach Miller after practice walking with a player who needed to be mentored a little bit or have the stinger pulled out. You also could count on Coach Miller for calling and or stopping by the house of a player who had been injured to check on them. I'd venture to say that if he ran into any of the thousands of players that Coach Miller has coached, they would agree. There's no one like Coach Miller. Coach Miller's legacy as a coach, shaping young men into great husbands, fathers, employees, and friend, is legendary. Jack Miller as a friend. Jack is one of the most loyal people I've ever known. When anything is going down in your life, positive or negative, Jack is right there to check on you. Jack and his lovely wife Mary have been my family's family over the past 21 plus years. Starting in August of 2000, during an early practice before school had started, Jack invited me over for lunch after practice. That's a day I'll never forget. It's the day I found one of my closest friends, one where I found Uncle Jack and Aunt Mary to my kids. The countless meals and holidays that Jack and Mary made my family feel special and loved, I will always remember. I am proud and honored to introduce Jack, my friend, as Jack Miller, Hall of Famer, again.
Hi there, my name is Jack Miller, and I want to take this opportunity to say how excited and honored I am to have been selected to the Manteca High School Hall of Fame. I'd like to thank Stephanie Helmstead and Neil McDaniel and the entire committee for this tremendous honor. I knew from the time I arrived at Manteca High in 1981 that it was a very special place. I was able to work with outstanding people and teachers, people like Walker Vick, Art Mathis, Joe Handy, Dee Helpingstein, Earl Pimentel, people who mentored me and taught me the ropes, so to speak, and I am forever indebted. I was lucky to work with 4 outstanding head football coaches, Mick Founts, Bob Lee, Joe Miller, Eric Reese, people who took great pride in their programs and allowed the players and coaches like myself to be successful. I was lucky to be involved in the Manteca High School baseball program with Neil McDaniel, Bobby Fryer, Dave Camara, Nick Betty, Dion Ward. It was, it was fun to go to practice every day, and memories I'll cherish forever. The people I worked with, just outstanding. People who remain friends to this day. Greg Leland, Scott Eckerly, Vanessa Knapp, just made going to work, so enjoyable. I love teaching history. People like Art Johnson and Steve Winter and Nina Norton, Joe Johnson, and so-called recent arrivals like Justin Konenberg and Josh Ferris. People who were just great colleagues, and we shared ideas, and they helped me stay excited and invigorated about the subject that I taught. I just can't thank all of them enough for what they have done for me. The kids at Manteca High, hardworking, funny, generous, supportive, just wonderful people. The entire community of Manteca has been a great place to be the last 40 years. Forever indebted to all of them. And many of the kids are friends to this day. I finally want to thank my family, my sons, Sammy and Kevin, who also went to Manteca High School, and thank them for the challenges of being a student at a place where their dad taught. And finally, I'd like to thank my wife, Mary, a very, very special person who, along with being a wife and a mom and having a career of her own outside the family, made it possible for me and encouraged me to coach and teach all these many years. As you can see, I've been blessed by being surrounded by this tremendous school family and my own family. and I can't thank everybody enough. Once again, what an honor, and I'm very excited to be a part of this. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dan Evanson. I'm a Manteca High School class of 1986 graduate, and I'm here to nominate Eric Reese to the Manteca High School Hall of Fame. I not only got to play football with Eric at Manteca High School, I also got to play football with him at Cal Poly in my senior year. I had the pleasure to coach with Eric for 16 years at Manteca High School. And my coaching started out as on a trip from San Luis Obispo back to Manteca when we were in college. Eric and I were talking about how we wanted to, what we want to do with our lives when we grew up, and Eric said he wanted to come back to Manteca High School, be a head football coach, and not just create a great program, he wanted to create a dynasty. And I'd say he's done that. He's the all-time winningest coach in Manteca High School history. His coaching record's 150 wins, 43 losses, and 2 ties. 5 Sac Joaquin section championships, 05, 06, 13, 16, and 17. 2006, he was the Cal High Sports Medium School Football Coach of the Year. And twice was the Valley Oak League Football Coach of the Year. But that's not where Eric made his impact. His impact is on the lives of the hundreds of young men he coached and mentored. Eric taught his players the importance of hard work, perseverance, working for a cause, and being part of something bigger than yourself to work for a common goal. Some years the goals were loftier than others, but he always demanded the players work to get the most out of themselves. This attitude also helped these student athletes do well in the classroom. Eric also taught his players about the importance of faith, family, friends, and then football. His door was always open to his players, even as they graduated and moved on in life. If you were a player for Coach Reese, you will always be part of his team. Eric would counsel his players with family issues more than the on-field problems they were having. Even with his on-field successes, Eric enjoyed the off-season successes of his players. Going to former players' weddings, graduations, baptisms, and their children's birthday parties are a bigger source of pride than the biggest football game victories. These are the victories that mattered most to Eric. As a minister with his church, Eric has even officiated several wedding ceremonies of his former players. Eric Reese helped positively shape hundreds of boys into great dads, husbands, and working men through his high school football coaching in Manteca. A worthy nominee, Eric Reese, Manteca High School Hall of Fame.
Hello, my name is Eric Reese, and I am a class of 1987 graduate of Manteca High School, and I am truly honored to be put into the Manteca High School Hall of Fame. Manteca High obviously made a big impact on me and my youth growing up, and for the ability to be able to be put in the Hall of Fame is a huge honor. So truly do want to say thank you to the committee for selecting me for this honor. I know there's a lot of qualified people that have really made big contributions to the school, and to be put in there with them is a huge, big feather, Lord. And just want to say thank you for that. I do want to thank my family, my mom and dad, especially just growing up in Manteca. The school has a tremendous tradition that I can remember coming to the school as a little guy and coming to football games, that kind of stuff. So it's always been an honor to be a part of the culture of the city of Manteca, and to be a part of the Manteca High family has been a huge deal, for sure. I do want to thank my wife and kids, just my wife in particular, just being able to let me coach football in the way that we did it, just full steam ahead, and just so many hours and stuff, and so gracious and let me do that. And then my kids, obviously being a part of the fabric of Manteca High School, their lives were, obviously affected big time. My 2 older kids have graduated. My youngest son's going there now, so it's a huge honor to still be a part of that tradition. My brother, I just think back in my early days of coaching at Manteca High, I had my dad up doing the scissor lift. My brother was created the victory bell and ringing that. So it was a family affair, and I do appreciate everyone's part of making that happen. I'd like to thank the administration. I'd like to thank Telka Walzer for hiring me, taking a chance on me back then. Definitely wasn't a sure thing when I got hired to be the football coach. So I truly do appreciate her going out on a limb for me.
I want to thank our current administration, Frank Gonzalez, Bill Slicker, definitely Manteca High's athletics. We definitely have been taken care of, and the school is heading in a great direction. So we appreciate that. Obviously, I would not be any talking, especially coaching wise, of being in the Hall of Fame without my fellow coaches. Had some outstanding men. I think of Rick James. I think of Neil McDonald, Jack Miller. I think of Coach Evanson, Coach Benasco, Coach Fryer. Just goes on and on of just such great, outstanding men who have really helped the Manteca High football program. I think of the players. We've had definitely some outstanding young men who gave us their absolute all, and definitely would not be here at all without them. And then obviously this is the 100-year anniversary of Manteca High, and to be able to get put in the Hall of Fame on the 100th year is definitely a special occasion, and definitely honored by this, and just definitely my thought process has always been to pay it forward, and that's why I've tried to do my best. I've always felt like Manteca High was my mission field, kind of like some people have mission fields of foreign countries, but I feel like Manteca High is where I'm supposed to be and has been, and I'm very honored by that opportunity, and I want to just thank you once again for this great honor. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Mick Founts, and I'm nominating Karen Steves for the Manteca High School Hall of Fame. Karen came to Manteca High School in 1975, and that was at a time where competitive opportunities for girls actually moved into the Valley Oak League for the first time ever. And Karen just literally tore it up during that time. She started as a varsity player in 3 sports for all 4 years of her attendance at MHS, and she lettered 12 times. She made first team All-League in 10 of those 12 seasons. She was team captain in most of those seasons. Karen was selected VOL Most Valuable Player in both basketball and softball her senior year, and was actually selected as a high school All-American in the sport of girls basketball. And she also received awards for being a great student during those all 4 years of high school. And it's hard to think of someone who was more impactful and a better example of what MHS wanted in the beginning, the opportunity for girls to play competitive athletics. Karen also has done so much for people in the community that we don't even hear about. But one thing that she did that I love to talk about is when she hosted, developed, paid for, did everything for the Manteca High School Hall of Fame Coaches Awards, where she looked for coaches during the times that she was at the high school and afterwards who contributed to the legend of athletic excellence. And she had over 200 attendees at this event, past players, all kinds of folks, and 18 coaches were recognized. I was happy to be one of those. And another thing that she did as an example is Frank Gwinna was having some serious health issues, and Frank was a great supporter of Manteca sports and Manteca football when I was a coach. And she held a special event for him to sort of help him along. And she did something for me specifically when I was running for San Joaquin County Superintendent of Schools. Karen led the development of a huge kickoff dinner and dance, which really created the momentum for me to be elected county superintendent of schools. And none of us asked Karen to do any of these things. She just did them because she wanted to, because she was so committed to Buffs, really. And I know that Karen is probably going to be just embarrassed and humbled by being nominated, and I can't wait to see her acceptance speech. So I'm sure there'll be a few tears and those things, because she just does things. She does things for Buffs. She does things for people in the community. So I think the big thing is Karen began her high school career by creating a picture in the minds of young girls who saw her play and those who read about, saw things, pictures, heard about how she entered into sports and really set the bar high for all girls who have the opportunity today to compete. And for me, she's not one who wears a green and white just as clothing. She holds the tradition in her heart and soul. So with that, Karen Steves, congratulations. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Hi there, this is Karen Ott. Most people know me as Karen Steves Ott. I just wanted to take a moment here and I wanted to thank you, Stephanie, and the entire board for this honor, this tremendous honor, one that never in a million years would I ever expect. And I can't even tell you how it's touched my heart. I can tell you that last Friday when I received your letter and I read the first line, my knees buckled and I fell completely apart. I warned you about me, Stephanie. Well, here it is. I just hope that there's a day real soon that I can come down to the high school and I can thank each and every one of you. I've got to do this in person because I can't convey my appreciation over a video. And I hope it happens soon. To Dr. Mick Founce, who was a very well-respected teacher and coach at Manteca High, who continued to work so hard and actually reached the pinnacle of success in education in our area and became San Joaquin County Superintendent of Schools. To you, Mick, again, I thank you, and I hope you were there that day at the school so I can see you and thank you in person. Sorry for the tears, guys. This is just the effect it's had on a woman who's turning 60 years old in 2 months. Anyway, please bear with me. Go back with me, 1975. As a freshman, 14 years old, I was there. Yes, this is going to show my age, for the inception of a very special program, the beginning of the Valley Oak League for Girls. And what an exciting time. This is when I met the Lorraine Goff. She was my coach, 2 of the 3 sports, all 4 years. She took me under her wing. She guided me. She put a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. But you know, there were these 3 words that she would whisper in my ear every game. And it was, you've got this. I never knew how powerful those 3 words were going to be until I became an adult and just going through different issues and adversities that we all do as adults. Lorraine Goff is in my left ear saying, you've got this. This is who she was. This is what she was to me. She is a lot of the reason for all of this. I have her to thank. Right before she died, a couple of days, I was with her most every day during the process. And, she reached down to me, and these were her last words to me. She said, you know what, Karen? You were the one that always had my back. And so for this moment, I wish she was here, and I hope she's listening. Lorraine Goff, you always had my back. You made me believe in myself. You made me work harder than I've ever worked before, but you gave me confidence. And now at 60 years old, I have been inducted into Manteca High School's Hall of Fame. And you are a lot of the reason for it. So I thank her. I thank all of you once again for this honor that I will cherish forever. Thank you.
This is David Breidenbacher, Councilman with the City of Manteca. I'd like to congratulate all of those who have been elected into the Manteca High Hall of Fame. Your contributions as students, athletes, teachers, and community leaders has been outstanding. This is a great honor for you. It was an honor for us to be on the committee. Again, congratulations.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Helmstead, the Activity Director at Manteca High School and the Chairperson of the Hall of Fame Committee. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening for this virtual event. I know it's not quite as much fun as it could have been because we aren't all together, but even a pandemic was not going to stop us from honoring these 6 amazing Buffaloes for their contributions to Manteca High School and to the community. We are so proud of each and every one of you, and we are so extremely thankful that you could be a part of this evening with us. We can't wait to see what more you guys do to make Manteca and Manteca High School a better place, and what more you do to make the world even more amazing. And next year, we hope to see even more nominees and even more inductees, as we have now restarted this amazing trend for Manteca High. So again, thank you for joining us this evening, and we'll see you soon. Bye, Buffs.